But, Rob G., we got big news today in Major League Baseball, and the Dodgers did the right thing in announcing it because one of their legendary pitchers, and they've had many in this organization's history, is calling it quits.
No, you're being too nice, Rob. I'm really upset about this news. You know why?
Why is that?
Personal reason. We had just recorded the Inside the Parker MLB podcast. It had gone live 7 minutes before this news came down. So now we look dated and we look like we don't know what we're doing because Clayton Kershaw had to get this news out at 2:07 p.m. Pacific.
What was that? You're right. I thought
you knew you were going to do it. Why didn't you do it in the morning?
Do it. You should have done it in the morning for the East Coast. Do it with a press release.
But that's disrespectful to you, man. How much you've been dealing with him over the years. He should have did that for you, Rob Parker. He should have threw you that alley-oop. He should have, matter of fact, broke you with you exclusive, Rob. You know what I mean? You've been covering baseball since Moby Dick was a guppy. And I'm going to break this news with you first.
I've always been a big fan of MLBBro.com.
Even though I needed to know, and y'all wouldn't let me know, I've still been a fan.
Man.
But, you mentioned that Clayton Kershaw has announced that at the end of this 2025 Dodger season, he will be retiring from the game of baseball. Clayton Kershaw, of course, 2014 NL MVP. 222 victories, second only to Don Sutton in Dodgers franchise history. In July, became the 20th pitcher in baseball history to accumulate 3,000 career strikeouts. Here's the best one. His 2.54 ERA, the lowest of any pitcher in the live ball era. Clayton Kershaw,
incredible.
flat out stud.
No doubt. The best pitcher of our generation. There's no doubt about it. Has done everything you could do. Wanted to only wear the Dodgers uniform. There have been the last couple of years, Kelvin, you know this, where they thought he was going to play for the Texas Rangers. He's from outside of Dallas, and they figured that he would, call it a career. A lot of great pitchers have gone on to play somewhere else, and he didn't want to do that. He wanted to be a Dodger, and that's it. And the Dodgers allowed him, even through his struggles and all the injuries or whatever, to still remain. And this right here makes sense to me. At this time, and the Dodgers make this announcement because he's starting tomorrow night against the Giants, and that's the reason. They wanted to make sure if people wanted to be there, that could be. And you don't know how the playoffs work out, who's starting. If they get knocked out, if they're in a wild card, you don't know if he'll ever get to pitch at Dodger Stadium again. The only thing they're sure of is that he's going to start tomorrow night.
1,000% correct, Robin. I remember I was on I did pre and post game last Saturday, and he was pitching. I believe he pitched that day, and we were talking about it on the air. Yep, he was pitching that day. We kept saying about how this could be his last time up in the Bay Area. This could be the last time because to your point, you got to appreciate these moments for a guy that legendary. And I like that they said that because you never know with injuries, you never know how things go. This might be his last one tomorrow. So you're right about that. Good
Absolutely.
for them to announce that now.
But now when we look at his career, okay, Kershaw for a long time struggled in the postseason.
He did.
And he finally broke through in 2020 when they won the COVID championship in Arlington. I was there. I covered that with 14,000 people,
Had to be weird.
Yep. And it was very weird. And they did win the World Series finally. But he pitched well in that series. He didn't play last year when the Dodgers beat the Yankees in the World Series in 2024. So he has 2 World Series rings, but he did get the one, in 2020. Yeah. And so people are always thinking about, but he had a great regular season career. And then the flip side would be Eli Manning, who, and I'm not saying he had terrible, he wasn't the greatest quarterback during the regular season, but he top 10 in touchdowns and completions, top 10. But the question would be, which career would you rather have? And, of course, Eli came through big time, beat the Patriots and Tom Brady twice, MVP twice. I mean, he excelled. I mean, beating that 18-0 Patriots team, right? I mean, that was huge. That's legendary. He has 2 signature throws in that. Would you rather have Clayton Kershaw's total body of work, which includes championships, but a lot of failure, though, in the postseason leading up to that championship, but spectacular regular seasons, or good regular seasons and great postseason like Eli Manning? Where are you?
I thought about this when we were coming up with this because they both have kind of the other thing. Eli, you almost think of nothing else but a couple of clutch throws. You know what I mean? So when you think of him, immediately go to the great things. Where unfortunately for some people, not a lot, and I don't think it's the vast majority, but for some, when they think of Clayton Kershaw, they might think of seventh innings. Like, oh God, so here comes the seventh inning.
Or they might think of some of those bad home runs he gave up in the postseason.
And that's what I'm saying. A lot of that was seventh inning. But I thought about it, and I'm going with Clayton Kershaw for a couple of reasons, Rob. Number one, the chance for you to be deemed, and many might say, the best of your era, or some might even say the best of the last, 50 years or what have you, and that
definitely
is huge.
This generation, definitely.
For sure. And you think of the guys in his generation, the Scherzers and the Verlanders, and depending on how far back we go, but there's a handful of other guys that could be considered in his generation. That's a compliment of the utmost for him. So I'd rather have Clayton Kershaw, where I'm absolutely considered one of the best of all time in a sport that's been around for like 150, 60 years. And that is a huge accomplishment. Also, you and I talk about this. There's the one benefit baseball players have, and then is that we don't necessarily deem winning has to be associated with you, right? If you're Mike Trout, for dang near a decade, he was the best player, and his teams weren't winning.
Normally, you're right. The only thing is, and that's usually with like position pitch players, like a Barry Bonds who can't pitch. So you can't blame him when the Giants couldn't hold the lead in a World Series. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Kershaw's different because he's the pitcher, and he could pitch a no-hitter. He could pitch a complete game. He could stymie the other team and win the game.
I totally get you.
It's a little different.
I will grant
You're
you that's
right,
a little different.
normally with a position player.
But the only reason, I will grant you that. But the other part of it is, I could pitch amazing six, and then the bullpen, as we've seen the Dodgers do for the last 2-3 weeks, bullpen blow it up as well and give it up. So it's just difficult in baseball because we don't have to hold you to that standard of, you won 17 championships. But I'm going Clayton Kershaw. To be considered one of the best ever at something is an amazing feat. And I got to be a part of multiple World Series appearances, but specifically 2 wins and titles. I just think that's remarkable. And he's kind of been one of those guys, you never question his will. You never question his desire. He gives you his all, and that's been part of his makeup. And I think he's enjoyed the ride the last go-round to kind of be the guy who can help the young guys up. I can help the Walker Buehlers who came up clutch for them to get that win last season. I can help these guys out, these young guys. I can be a part of that and kind of change his attitude because, he's been known for being a little tightly wound when it comes to his start days and all those kind of things. So at the end of it, give me the guy who had one of the greatest careers ever at something, one of the hardest positions in all the sports, and I have 2 World Series rings to boot. I'm going to take that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. And Kershaw's numbers, and you were talking about the bullpen blowing it, but his ERA is 4.49.
It ain't good.
I mean, you couldn't be any worse than that, and which is way higher than his 2.54 lifetime. Imagine that, from 2.54 regular season to 4.49. So it's a big jump, and his playoff record is only 13-13. He's a much better pitcher than that.
Yes.
But it would be hard for me to argue, as great as Eli's moments were, and they were great. I mean, the throw to Manningham, David Tyree helmet thing, and that wasn't even the game winner. He also had to throw the ball to Plaxico here to win the game. So as great as those moments were, it's hard to pick Eli in this moment because of that. But Eli makes a strong case from the standpoint of the Patriots were undefeated. He beat that team. A lot of people, not me, consider Tom Brady to be the GOAT. He beat Tom Brady twice. You know what I mean? Like during that time when Tom Brady had that 9-year drought, it was because of Eli Manning. So, but the overall, it would be different. I think we would have a different conversation because if Kershaw didn't win 2020, and I'm not counting last year because he didn't pitch, right? But if he didn't win 2020, I would have taken Eli.
I get that because he had some huge moments. He even came out the bullpen in 2020. He basically doing whatever they need from me.
No, he did. He did his thing. He didn't. He wasn't just along for the ride.
Whatever they need.
But you get my point, though, right? If he didn't win that, what Eli was able to do in those moments was incredible.
And you know what else to me would also to add to Clayton Kershaw? I do think that's the beauty of his journey was that it wasn't easy. I didn't just walk right in and win a bunch of championships. And, I wasn't maybe that part of that 96 run with the Yankees where we just boom, 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 boom. We ran out 4 straight. And he had great performances, horrible performances, things you wish you had back, the ups, the downs, going to the World Series and losing. You got the whole Houston Astros thing. And so, that's part of the beauty of 2020 for him, participating and being participatory in that win. And then even 2024, just look at the culmination. Now I'm the old wily vet getting to be around these young guys and mentor them up. So I think the full ride, the full spectrum of a professional career is also what Clayton Kershaw had. All right, Rob, so they're watching us right now, which means another thing they can do is what?
They can subscribe. All you got to do is hit that button, subscribe to The Odd Couple for some of the best sports talk content in the nation.
Facts, and while you're at it, they can like, they can comment, they can share, do all that for us. We appreciate it. Just do all that right up in here.